Case 50 years old finally has some closure.
Berkeley County Sheriff's Office has identified skeletal remains. Found in 1977, the victim linked to a prolific serial killer who confessed to nearly 100 murders across the U.S., drawing his victims for investigators.
We spoke to the sheriff today about how they were finally able to close the cold case.
Well, it's something you do not want to hear in your jurisdiction.
A case that goes back to 1974.
And this is one that piqued our interest. It was one that it went as far back as we could recall. We had very little information and data.
The sheriff's office says 51-year-old Leola Etta Bryant was last seen at Midway Bar on Reynolds Avenue. She was reported missing to North Charleston police. Her remains were found more than 3 years later on Sawgrass Avenue in Goose Creek.
She was familiar with the area. We don't know why he was taking her to that area. I don't know if he was, leading her to believe that he was taking her to her family or some of her relatives that lived up there.
But it took several agencies across the country to finally identify her, from Texas to Florida.
Once we were able to get the DNA, get it in the system, and go through all the protocols, it was really gratifying to know that we could solve this thing for that family.
But an interview with serial killer Sam Little in 2020 helped put some pieces together. He told detectives he killed a woman here in the 70s, saying he strangled her after meeting her at a North Charleston nightclub.
He had a photographic memory. He drew a painting of her, as he did many of his victims, very, very detailed about where he was, the surroundings, the location.
Berkeley County detectives tracked down someone with potential ties to Bryant earlier this year. And after speaking with that person, they were able to connect the dots and close the case, finally bringing closure to her family.
They all broke down and cried and were very emotional because they just, they never knew what happened. They never had 1 ounce of information except from that night when she got in the car with Samuel Little.